So in this part of the video, in the previous video, which was the part two video, I showed you the rubrics and also the language components that you can focus on to improve the rubrics, right? But since I can't go, because it's very inconvenient to write and explain everything, and yeah, so what I decided to do is I decided to show you guys, or give you guys some links that you can follow on YouTube to start studying about those. The first one is on phonology, right? So uh, you can say something like IPC, phonology, IPCC. Where is it? you know So this phonology crash course linguistic. This is the very interesting. This is a very interesting video that you can watch. Okay, this is a very interesting video that you can watch for learning about phonology. So please learn the use this video to improve your individual sounds and the actual sounds in English. Okay, you can practice that. That's one. Then, once you have the individual sounds covered, then we combine letters and sounds to create words, mula. And then we are talking about the pronunciation of words. And that was in the form of syllable stressing, right? So you just search for this video, syllable stressing, right? And I would want you to watch this particular video, this one by an Indian woman, right, on syllable and word stress rules. Okay, this has two parts. This video has two parts. One is syllable stressing one and syllable stressing two. So here the women explains, how words pronunciation actually happens. Okay, so you watch this video as well. This video has two parts, so watch both part one and part two. And now see, you first with phonology, you talked about individual sounds in English. Then we went on to the syllable stressing, right, where we talk about word pronunciation. Now words get combined to form sentences. So when we talk about sentences, then we are talking about something called what? Word stressing, isn't it? Which comes all together in the form of intonation. Right, and for the purpose of your TOEFL IBT, I would want you guys to watch this video on American intonation, okay, by a lady named Hada. Okay, she this video I think is one of the best video on American intonation. So that gives you an understanding of what it means by intonation, right? Intonation. So yep, this video by Hada, I I really like this video. So now, once we get to the intonation level, then different countries they use different, intonation, which is nothing but rhythm, melody, and stressing patterns to, they create those different. I mean, it's basically it forms accent, right? For example, American accent, British accent, Australian accent, right? So it's all, it has everything to do with this intonation. And if you know a little bit on intonation, and if you practice melody, stress, and rhythm and all, then it can really improve your, how you sound and how you can do better, I guess, right? When you're sitting for the TOEFL IBT speaking test. So once you finished with intonation, then I would also want you to watch a video on the next concept called connected speech. Right. So connected speech. So I would recommend not this videos, but I don't remember the title for the video, but Yeah, but you can watch this connected speech video by Hada, by the same lady. Okay, she's quite good. But of course, if you want to explore more, then you can watch any video. For doesn't it necessarily have to be the video that I shared. But a syllable stressing one, I think it's very important that you watch that video. So once you do that, then you'll have a pretty good idea, right, about how to go about your, I mean, what to practice on to improve those, criterias that are mentioned in the rubrics. Okay. Um, Now that had everything to do with the delivery, right? So when we let me just first remove this. So the link that I gave you covers phonology. Excuse me. It covers phonology. It covers connected speech. It covers syllable stressing. It covers intonation, right? And then it covers word stress, right? Word stress is usually part of the intonation. When we talk about intonation, we talk about melody, rhythm, and stress. And this stress is nothing but the word stress that we're talking about, right? So if you want to improve these aspects, then all the link that I gave you is very important for first to understand and then practice it every day in your everyday life, right? So you can do this through phonemic chart. Phonemic chart. Now, sounds in English are in the form of either, vowels or consonants. Yeah, I think we are all aware of it. So you need to know the vowels and consonants to be able to pronounce uh, some specific English sounds. Usually, when I teach phonemic chart, but the good thing about Bhutanese is that I would say 95% of sounds in English are already there in Zonka, a subject that we all study in school. So that's the reason why we sound, even though most of us look like Koreans and Japanese, but we sound better than them, in speaking English. And the reason is because 95% of the sound are already there in English. So, um, but there are some few sounds that are not there in Zonka, right? That are in English, and that's why we mess up those pronunciation. For example, the sound for the letter F, right, is family, family. It's almost like saying fa 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 fa, right? But since the sound is not there in Zonka, right? We use the sound of p, right? And then when we speak English, how does it sound? Is family, family, right? So that's how we say. So that's one sound which is not there in Zonka. The other sound which is not there in Zonka is the sound for the letter V, which is v, right? Since we don't have this sound in Zonka, v, then we Bhutanese replace this sound with b, b. So that's why some of us we say very very good, very very, right? So it's very important to know, the consequences of those individual sounds because it directly affects your pronunciation. How English should be pronounced and how it should be spoken. And see, normally it doesn't matter. If you're staying in Bhutan and if you speak B or V, doesn't make much difference. Since we're part of a small society, we all get along. And then I think I understand what you mean when you say Beri, right? But here we're talking about studying in a country where English is spoken as first language, and there people are so used to hearing that particular sound v. And if you say berry berry, then they'll be like, what do you mean, right? So it affects the communication. So that's why it's very important. So I suggest you guys go to YouTube and practice, the vowels and consonants in English, so that whenever you're speaking, it comes out, right? So things like paint, right? Pant, right? Another interesting thing is the sounds like C and K. The C and K has only one sound in English, which is k, k, right? Which is there in Zonka. That's why it's like ka. It's not car, right? Paint is p, paint, right? Pant. So these, different sounds has a lot of consequences on how you sound when you're speaking English. So it's very important that you guys, yeah, check that out through Phonemic chart, right? Phonemic chart. Um, what else? I would also want you guys to concentrate on collocations now. Okay, combinations of words. Any combinations of verb with verb. You can go linguistically, or you can also, every evening you do an exercise where whenever you're watching TV, you try to observe, you try to observe what combinations of verb people use when they speak about different scenarios. So then, later I'll be talking about a particular process that you can use to practice, in the in the next video, right? But for now, please watch those videos to cover the delivery part. Okay. Now, the language use part is exactly the same as when we talked about the writing. Okay. So here you have to make sure that you use diverse words. You make sure that you use, and how you can use diverse words by using subject specific words, by using synonyms, and by also paraphrasing wherever you can't replace a particular word which keeps on repeating. You paraphrase, right? And then also again concentrate on collocation, because collocation word combinations really change the way you sound when you speak English. I think native speaker English, native English speaker sounds very different to us because they have different collocation patterns compared to us. So that's why it's very important. I would say forget about grammar and just concentrate on collocations. If you can get your collocations right, then you can reduce grammatical errors by huge margin. So these are some of my recommendations for your language use. And also don't, when you learn words, so hence that's why I'm saying, when you learn words, don't learn just the meaning of the word now. Also look at the other words that particular word is used with, and the situation those words can be used for, right? So if you do that, then that's nothing but collocation. And we've already looked at collocation also improves your fluency when you're speaking, right? Because you don't because then you don't think about words, which really kills your fluency when you're speaking. The minute you start thinking about words, gone. So the term think in English, I think, means not at all thinking. So think in English means that your first reaction is to use the language, right? So you have to practice up to an extent, to be able to do that, right? This is what I mean. And language use is grammar and vocabulary is exactly the same thing. uh, I couldn't really do this sentence structure part when we were speaking about the writing, but I'll see when I can do this. I'll explain. But I mean, or you can watch YouTube videos on it. Yes, yes. Please watch some YouTube videos on sentence structures and creating different sentence structures. Not just using simple sentences, because you sound very monotonous when you sound as if you're chopping. Hello, I am Sering. I'm from Trongsa, right? How are you? I'm good. These are all. It sounds very choppy when you're using simple sentence. Instead, try to use some other sentence structures. Like, even though I've lived here in Thimphu my entire life, I still struggle to I still struggle to get around. I don't know, something like that, right? So use different sentence structures, and it's very important to notice, those sentence structures and start using in your language, so that when you are actually in the exam hall, then the sentence structure just comes out in your, mouth, right? And then you don't actually have to think about words and struggle. So yeah. And then you already know about conjunctive adverbs and determiners and signpost languages, right? And how to use them to connect ideas and develop ideas, creating relationship between different points when you're speaking, right? So, so yeah. So this video is especially, to let you guys know that, since because of the limited time and all, I can't create a detailed video, right? So that's why I have to cut short and give you guys some, few videos here and there. But if you, understand the abstract view of how things are laid out and how language actually works, then you should be able to go out and I think, practice and know about it, right? I think I can entrust you guys to go forward and then, explore more and then practice more to then, improve on your speaking part. So this will be the end of this video. Yep. I'll see you guys in the next